Although Albert Einstein is arguably the most famous scientist of all time, there are probably numerous things you didn't know, or probably think you know about him. While he managed to completely change science and physics, Albert was also a very regular guy with very mundane problems, like a terrible memory. In spite of that, he managed to capture the hearts and mind of every intellectual out there. Are you one of them? These are 25 insights on Albert Einstein you might not know. 25. The pathologist who did Einstein's autopsy stole his brain and kept it in a jar for 20 years. 24. Einstein was offered the presidency of Israel, which he declined. 23. But wait, you might say, Einstein failed math, right? That is false. He was a mathematical genius since childhood. 21. He was even creating advanced mathematical proofs by the time he was 12. 20. The origin of the Einstein failed math myth is largely unclear, but is possibly due to the fact that his final school years were done in Switzerland, where the grading scale is backwards from Germany's. 6 is considered perfect instead of 1. 19. Another theory is that it could have been because he was always soliciting help from famous mathematicians. 18. This wasn't because of his failures at math though, it was only because the topics he was dealing with were so advanced, and he was barely a teenager. 17. In fact, the rumor started while he was still alive. 16. When Einstein was shown a copy of Ripley's Believe It or Not, that claimed he had failed math, he laughed and said, "I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15 I had mastered differential and integral calculus." 15. He did, however, fail his initial entrance exam at the Federal Polytechnic Academy in Switzerland. Federal Polytechnic Academy in Switzerland. 14. Keep in mind, however, that he passed the math portion with flying colors. Einstein was very poor at language, and so he completely failed that part of the test. Test 13. Einstein didn't actually speak until he was 4 years old. Einstein as a child. 12. This may have contributed to the fact that he thought in terms of images. Thought. 11. In fact, many of his greatest discoveries and insights came from thought experiments and just imagining things. 10. Upon graduating from the Federal Polytechnic Academy in Switzerland, Einstein couldn't find a teaching job and so became a patent clerk. Albert Einstein when young. 9. While a patent clerk, Einstein wrote 4 papers that changed the future of science. Relativity. 8. There is a common misconception that Einstein received the Nobel Prize for his theories of relativity. Nobel Prize. 7. He actually received it for the discovery of the law of the photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect. 6. This was because his theories of relativity were controversial among scientists. The people, however, loved him and were pushing for him to receive a Nobel Prize. 5. By awarding him with a Nobel Prize for discovering a new law, all parties were satisfied. But Einstein would never win a Nobel Prize for his theories of relativity. Einstein and colleagues. 4. Einstein got his first wife to divorce him by offering her the money he would receive from the Nobel Prize several years before he actually won it. Apparently he was a confident fellow. Not geld. 3. Einstein was also notorious for having a bad memory, forgetting names, phone numbers, and dates. Albert Einstein. 2. After divorcing his first wife, he married his cousin, an acceptable thing to do back then, and emigrated to the U.S. after the Nazis took power. Albert Einstein and wife. 1. And to end with a fun fact, Einstein's appearance inspired Stuart Freeborn when he was creating Yoda, the Star Wars character.